Hello, welcome to Levant TV Headlines. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad says that setbacks are a normal part of any war and do not mean the conflict is lost in his first comments after several defeats. 3 people have been killed in a cross-border mortar bomb and rocket attack by Yemen rebels on a city in southern Saudi Arabia. European Union's foreign policy chief Federica Mogherini says the conflict and chaos in Yemen has opened the door to al-Qaeda and there needs to be international mediation to end the violence rather than unilateral action. 1 policeman has been killed and 5 others wounded in clashes with supporters of Egypt's ousted Islamist President Mohamed Morsi in a Nile Delta city. And Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said that Tehran would not take part in nuclear talks if threatened with military force, state television said, as Iran and world powers try to meet a June 30th deadline for a final deal. And now let's have a look at top headlines in today's newspapers in the Middle East. Starting from Beirut, the Daily Star leads reporting that 2 soldiers were slightly wounded when gunmen opened fire on a military position in the eastern city of Baalbek. The paper also reports that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is racing to put together a governing coalition with the deadline only hours away. The Egypt Independent leads reporting that former CIA Director Michael Morell has disclosed new details about the January 25th 2011 revolution and the agency's failure to anticipate the Arab Spring in his new book. The paper also reports that police recruit al-Husseiny was killed and 5 others were injured in clashes that erupted early morning among security forces and Muslim Brotherhood supporters in the village of al-Basarta. From the UAE, the Khalij Times reports that Saudi Arabia said that Gulf leaders must stand up to Iran as Yemeni rebels backed by Tehran attacked a Saudi border town with mortar shells. The paper also reports that Emirates is pressing ahead with its network expansion in the US regardless of a heated subsidy row with 3 US airlines. Now let's have a look at top Middle East headlines from papers here in London. The Guardian leads reporting that Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, is still struggling to put together a new right-wing coalition government in Israel before a looming deadline at midnight on Wednesday. Although the Prime Minister is expected to scrape together a coalition by the thinnest of margins, it appears it will be at the head of an unstable and vulnerable government. The Independent leads reporting that ISIS has purportedly opened its own luxury hotel in Iraq's second city of Mosul for members of the extremist group to stay in while visiting. Pictures circulated by ISIS-affiliated social media accounts show members tending to a well-maintained garden, polishing floors and cleaning windows, expansive swimming pools, and 2 black ISIS flags flying at the front of the multi-story building. The Telegraph leads reporting that with so many threats emerging in the Arab world, from the takeover of large areas of Syria and Iraq by the Islamic State to Iran's attempt to establish a client state in Yemen, it has been vital that Saudi Arabia establish a new defense policy. In this context, Operation Decisive Storm is an illustration of the powerful firepower the Saudis now have at their disposal to defend their interests. And now let's move to international papers. From Berlin, the Deutsche Welle reports that Yemen's Houthi rebels randomly shelled Najran, a Saudi border town, on Tuesday, hitting schools, hospitals and civilian homes, marking the first attack by an Iran-backed Houthis on Saudi soil. And finally, China's Global Times reports that Iraq has dispatched reinforcement to Salahuddin province to fight ISIS militants trying to take the country's largest oil refinery. Brigades from the federal police and allied militias known as Hashid Shabi, or Popular Mobilization, backed by tanks and armored vehicles, rushed to an airbase just north of the provincial capital city of Tikrit. That was it. For more updates, please visit levant.tv. Thanks for watching. Be sure to join us again tomorrow, and bye for now.